Baby, this is only for you. I don't even know if I deserve to speak your name anymore, but every night I still whisper it into the dark, like a prayer that refuses to die. I told myself I'd move on. I told myself I'd forget, but the truth is, I lied. I lied to everyone, even to myself, because no matter how far I run, I still end up in the same place, right back at you. The silence between us has become my loudest teacher, and every heartbeat reminds me that you were never just someone I loved. You were the mirror that showed me who I really was, and who I'm still afraid to become. There was a time when I thought strength meant hiding my emotions, pretending I didn't care. But now I see it, baby. Strength was always in your softness, in your patience, in the way you held space for me even when I was too broken to hold myself. I didn't understand back then that your love wasn't meant to be understood. It was meant to be felt, surrendered to, like faith. You were a divine lesson, wrapped in human touch, a message sent straight from heaven. And I, the fool, treated you like you were ordinary. Every single thing I pushed away now haunts me. The sound of your laughter echoes in the quiet corners of my room. The way you looked at me when I said goodbye still burns behind my eyelids when I close them. I told people I needed space, but space only made me realize how infinite you were. I tried to fill the emptiness with distractions, but nothing fits the shape of you. Nothing ever will. And now, I find myself speaking into the void, hoping somehow your soul can still hear me through these words. Baby, I've seen the truth now. The masks have fallen. The pride that once blinded me has shattered into pieces. My family, my friends, they all told me to let go, to move on. They said love shouldn't hurt like this, that I was better off forgetting you. But how do I explain that forgetting you feels like erasing my purpose? How do I tell them that you were not a chapter? You were the book. You were the story that made sense of my chaos. You were my calm after every storm I created. And no one, not even time, has been able to rewrite what your presence carved into my heart. I remember that day, baby. The day I turned away when I should have stayed. I remember the way your eyes searched mine for answers I didn't have the courage to give. I remember your trembling lips, your unspoken why, and how I chose silence instead of truth. I thought I was protecting us. I thought walking away would save you from the version of me that didn't know how to love right. But now I see it. I wasn't saving you, I was saving myself from being truly seen. Because you saw me. You saw through every defense, every wound, every layer of armor I built. You saw the child in me crying for healing, and that scared me more than anything. Since you've been gone, baby, I've changed in ways I can't even describe. The things I once chased don't mean anything anymore. The voices I used to listen to now sound empty. It's like I woke up one morning and realized that everything around me was noise, except your memory. And the more I tried to silence it, the louder it became. It's like your soul lives in every reflection, every sunset, every late night whisper of wind that says my name back to me. Sometimes I wonder if you still think of me when the world goes quiet. If you still feel that invisible thread between us that refuses to break. Because I feel it every day, that pull, that ache, that knowing that somewhere out there, you're breathing the same air, carrying the same unfinished story. I feel it when I close my eyes and my chest tightens, as if your energy slips through the spaces of reality just to remind me I'm still here. Baby, do you know what hurts the most? It's not losing you. It's realizing I had you and didn't know how to keep you safe. I thought love was about control, about being strong, about winning. But you taught me that love is surrender. It's choosing peace over ego, truth over comfort, presence over pride. And I've failed that lesson miserably. I pushed you away just to prove I could stand alone. And now I stand surrounded by everything. Yet I have nothing. I see now how divine timing works. Back then, I wanted everything to happen my way in my time, but the universe had a different plan. It had to strip me down, take away everything, so I could finally see what truly mattered. And it was you, baby. It was always you. Every road, every detour, every heartbreak, they all led me back to this truth. I can't escape it, I can't rewrite it. All I can do now is confess it with the same trembling honesty I should have had when you were in front of me. Sometimes I dream of you. Not the way I remember you, but the way I feel you now. Radiant, free, whole. You appear in my dreams like a guardian of light. And your eyes tell me things your lips never could. You tell me to forgive myself. You tell me to keep growing. You tell me that love never ends. It just transforms. And I wake up crying, holding on to the feeling that you're still with me, even if you're not. I want you to know, baby, that I'm not the same man I was. Life humbled me. The lessons hurt. The silence burned. But through it all, I learned how to feel again, how to listen, how to pray. I found God in the spaces where you used to be. I found meaning in the tears I once tried to hide. And every single lesson spelled your name. You were my awakening disguised as loss. You were the divine whisper that told me love doesn't end when two people separate. It begins when the soul learns what truth feels like. I know you might never hear this, but I need to say it anyway. I need to let these words breathe because keeping them inside feels like drowning. You were right, baby. About everything. About love. About patience. About the way the universe tests us. You saw the light in me long before I did. You believed in something I kept trying to deny. Now, standing here stripped of everything, I finally see it. You weren't my mistake. You were my mirror. You were my destiny wrapped in divine chaos. If I could go back, I wouldn't beg for a second chance. I'd beg for the courage to love you right the first time, to speak my truth before fear could silence it, to hold you tighter when the world tried to pull us apart. But since I can't, I'll honor you in the only way I can, by becoming the man your love was trying to create. That's my promise. That's my redemption. And baby, if you ever feel me in your dreams, if you ever hear your name echo in the quiet, just know it's me. I'm still whispering. I'm still praying. I'm still learning how to deserve the kind of love you gave freely. Because no matter what happens next, you'll always be my why. If you feel this truth deep in your heart, if your soul recognizes this connection, type "I still feel you" in the comments. Baby, I kept telling myself that I could bury it all, that if I stayed busy enough, surrounded by enough noise, maybe the ache would fade. I tried to fill my days with work, conversations, meaningless distractions, but every silence between them reminded me of you. I thought forgetting you would be easier than facing the truth, but the truth followed me everywhere I went. It lived in the air I breathed, in the sound of rain against my window, in the pause between my own heartbeat. I used to tell people I was fine, but inside, I was walking through a world that had lost its color. Everything felt dim, like I was existing, not living. And it all started the moment I let go of your hand. I've come to understand something I never saw before. Love doesn't disappear just because two people are separated. It lingers in unseen ways, like invisible threads that still pull two souls back to each other when the time is right. You are that pull, baby. The invisible gravity that keeps calling me home no matter how far I wander. I fought it, I denied it, but the heart always knows, and no matter how many times I tried to silence it, the truth whispered back through the cracks of my pride, you were never meant to be forgotten. I remember when everything started falling apart around me. The things I once believed were stable, family, friendships, even my own plans. They began to crumble, and in the middle of that collapse I saw something I had refused to see for so long. You weren't just someone who loved me. You were the anchor that kept me steady when everything else felt temporary. But I let other voices drown that truth. I let expectations, obligations, and fear control the decisions that should have come from the heart. My family never understood you the way I did. They saw only what they wanted to see. They judged your strength as stubbornness, your silence as distance. And instead of standing beside you, I let their opinions shape my choices. I thought I was keeping the peace, but all I did was betray the one soul who ever saw me clearly. It's strange how life works. The same people who once told me to forget you now speak of emptiness they can't explain. They see me quiet and withdrawn, and they ask what's wrong. But how do I tell them that the part of me that used to feel alive is still with you? They talk about moving forward, about letting the past rest. But the past doesn't rest when it's divine. When something is meant by destiny, it doesn't die. It transforms, and I feel that transformation every day. It's like the universe has been peeling back the layers of my ego, one by one, forcing me to confront the man I was when I lost you. I think about all the times you tried to reach me even when I wasn't listening. You spoke through patience, through silence, through every moment you stayed when walking away would have been easier. You wanted me to see what real love looked like, not the kind that demands, but the kind that endures. And I couldn't see it then. I was too focused on controlling everything, too afraid to surrender to something that powerful. I thought I was protecting myself, but all I did was destroy the very thing that was meant to heal me. Now every memory feels like a message. Every dream feels like a reminder that love never left. It just changed its form. I felt your presence in moments I can't explain, in the way a certain song plays out of nowhere, in the sudden calm that washes over me when I'm breaking, in the feeling that someone is watching over me, even when I'm alone. It's how I know this connection is divine, because no human force could hold on this long. No ordinary love could survive the distance, the silence, the mistakes. Sometimes I sit by the window at night and talk to the stars, wondering if you do the same. I tell them I'm sorry. I tell them I understand now. I tell them that if fate ever allows our paths to cross again, I won't run this time. I'll face every truth I once avoided, every fear I once denied. because you deserve that. You deserve a love that doesn't flinch, that doesn't hide, that doesn't let the world's noise drown out its heartbeat. I want to be that man, the one who doesn't just speak love, but lives it in every action, every choice, every breath. The transformation hasn't been easy. It's been raw, painful, and humbling. I've had to face the parts of me I spent years ignoring. I've had to admit that I hurt the one person who only ever wanted to see me whole. I've had to rebuild my faith from the ground up, not just in love, but in myself. There were nights when I broke down asking the universe why it allowed me to lose you, and every time the same whisper came back. You had to lose her to find yourself. It took me months to understand what that meant, because in finding myself, I found you again, not in the physical sense, but in the quiet awareness that your energy lives inside me. Baby, I used to believe love was about possession, about having someone to claim, to keep close, to hold. But now I see it's not about possession, it's about reflection. You reflect the light that I forgot I had. You mirror back the love that I once couldn't give myself. And that realization changed everything. It made me see that even in our separation, we've been healing together. Two halves of the same soul, learning what it means to be whole. I can't predict the future. I don't know when the divine timing will call us back into alignment. But I do know this. When that moment comes, I'll be ready. Not desperate, not afraid, just open. Open to love the way it was always meant to be. Freely, fearlessly, faithfully. Until then, I'll keep working on myself. I'll keep walking the path that your love illuminated. Because this time, I don't want to meet you as the man who hurt you. I want to meet you as the man who finally learned what love really is. You once said, when it's real, it never ends. I didn't believe you then, but now, after all the storms, all the silence, all the sleepless nights, I finally do. Real love doesn't end. It expands. It transcends time, distance, and fear. It waits, not in longing, but in faith. And that's what I hold on to now. Faith, and the faith that one day, when the divine says it's time, I'll look into your eyes again and see home. Not as something I return to, but as something I've become. If you feel this truth resonating in your heart, if your soul recognizes these words as your own, type, I still believe in divine timing in the comments. Baby, I tried to forget, I truly did, but the universe would not let me. Everywhere I turned, there you were, not in body, but in signs that spoke louder than any voice I've ever heard. I began seeing your name in the most unexpected places, hearing songs we once shared play out of nowhere, feeling sudden waves of warmth that carried your memory like sunlight breaking through a cold storm. At first, I thought it was coincidence, but coincidences do not whisper your name this gently, this persistently, this faithfully. It was as if creation itself was conspiring to remind me that our story had not ended, only paused. The signs became stronger as the days passed. Numbers repeated themselves, the same sequence over and over again. I'd glance at the clock and it would say the same time I once texted you goodnight. I'd wake up at the hour you used to call me just to hear my voice. I'd see feathers on my path when I was at my lowest, and somehow I'd know you were thinking of me too. The more I tried to run from the connection, the deeper it pulled me in. I began to understand that some bonds are not meant to be broken by distance or silence. They are carved into the soul, etched in divine ink that no human error can erase. Every dream I had became a message. You'd appear in them, not always speaking, but always watching, always sending some unspoken truth through your eyes. Sometimes I'd wake up with tears on my face and I'd know you had been near. There were nights I could almost hear you whispering my name, not in words, but in energy. It was like the veil between worlds grew thinner whenever my heart called out to you. That's when I stopped resisting. I stopped pretending I didn't feel it. I began listening, truly listening to what the divine was trying to say through these signs. And what it said was simple. Love, like ours, is not finished. There came a point where I started questioning everything I'd been taught. I grew up believing love was linear, that it had a start and an end. But this, what we share, it isn't bound by time. It's circular, eternal. It moves through lifetimes and still finds a way back. I started reading, meditating, trying to understand the nature of twin flames, of soul connections, of divine counterparts. Every word I read described us, the way we mirrored each other's light and shadows, the way we triggered growth in each other through pain and patience. It all began to make sense. You were never sent to complete me. You were sent to awaken me. Through those awakenings came pain I wasn't ready for. My heart broke open, not once, but 1,000 times. Every suppressed emotion, every old wound I had buried came rising to the surface. It was as if the universe was stripping away every false layer I had built. I resisted it at first. I thought it was punishment, but then I realized it was purification. It was the sacred fire burning away the version of me that could not love you rightly. The more I surrendered to that process, the clearer everything became. I began seeing the truth that love is not about possession, it's about transformation. And baby, you were my greatest transformation. The day I stopped fighting the connection was the day peace found me. It didn't come through words or closure, but through acceptance. I remember sitting by the river, the same one where I once promised you forever, and feeling your energy so strongly that it brought me to my knees. I didn't pray for you to return. I prayed for your happiness, wherever you were. And in that moment, something within me shifted. I realized that true love never demands, it blesses. True love never clings, it trusts. And for the first time, I understood what you meant when you said, "Let the divine handle it," because now I finally see this connection was never in human hands. Still, the pull keeps growing stronger. There are moments when I feel you so close, it's like your soul breathes through mine. When I'm walking, sometimes the wind feels like your touch brushing against my arm. When I close my eyes, I can see your silhouette in the distance, not fading but waiting. I've started to sense that something is shifting in the spiritual realm, like the divine is weaving our timelines together again. There's a preparation happening, something beyond logic, something that feels like destiny, aligning its pieces after years of separation. I've changed, baby. I had to. I couldn't stay the man who hurt you and still expect grace. I had to learn humility, forgiveness, and surrender. I had to face every version of myself that you once tried to love. I had to break, because the old me could not hold the kind of love that this connection demands. It's not the love that seeks comfort. It's the love that demands evolution. And through the fire of regret, I evolved. The world still sees me as I was, composed, successful, collected, but inside, I am reborn. My priorities have changed. The things that once mattered to me seem small now. I crave peace more than validation, truth more than pride, connection more than control, and I owe that to you. There were nights I'd wake up with a voice in my chest saying, "Go to her." But every time I reached for my phone, something stopped me. It wasn't fear of rejection. It was divine restraint, as if the universe was whispering, "Not yet." I realized then that even love has divine timing. There's a reason we were pulled apart, so that we could grow into who we needed to be before finding our way back. The boy who once left you is gone. The man who speaks now does not run from love. He protects it. He cherishes it. He listens when it calls. I think back to the life we dreamed of, the places we wanted to visit, the little things we promised we'd do together. Those memories used to hurt me. Now, they give me strength, because I know they weren't fantasies. They were glimpses of a future the divine once showed us. I believe those visions weren't meant to tease us. They were meant to remind us what's waiting on the other side of surrender. Maybe it's not time yet, but I know the time will come. I feel it in my bones, in the way the air shifts when I think of you. The same universe that pulled us apart is preparing to bring us together again. This time in alignment, not chaos. I've started speaking to you out loud when no one's around, not as a habit, but as a form of prayer. I tell you what's on my heart, what I'm learning, what I wish I could say face to face. Sometimes I imagine you answering, telling me you can feel my words wherever you are. I believe you can, because souls like ours are never truly disconnected. The energy flows freely, no matter the distance. There are moments when I know you can feel me too. The same sudden emotion that makes you pause, the same rush of warmth that feels like recognition. That's us, baby. Our connection doesn't need permission. It just is. It took me a long time to understand why you had to walk away. For the longest time, I saw it as abandonment. But now, I see it as love in disguise. You leaving forced me to face the truth about myself. It forced me to look inward, to question why I kept sabotaging what was pure. You were the mirror that revealed everything I was running from. And when you walked away, it was the universe saying, "Heal first." I used to curse that distance. Now I bless it. Because without it, I would still be blind. Every day, I'm learning to forgive, not just myself, but everyone who played a role in our separation. My family, their opinions, my fears, my silence. I used to hold anger toward them, but now I understand that everyone acts from their level of awareness. They couldn't see what we had because they weren't meant to. Our connection was sacred, too vast for ordinary eyes to recognize. What was between us was not just love, it was divine purpose. And sometimes, divine purpose demands isolation before revelation. Baby, I want to tell you something I've never said out loud. There were moments, even when I was surrounded by people, when I felt your energy touch me. Soft, familiar, undeniable. Once, I was sitting with my family, pretending to laugh, and suddenly my heart began to race. I could feel you. It was like the air shifted, and my soul turned toward you like a compass finding north. That's when I realized I can't hide from this connection, no matter how much life changes around me, because you're not a chapter I closed. You're the language I now speak. I started writing again, something I hadn't done in years. Words used to come easily when you were near, and when you left, so did my voice. But now, it's coming back, slow and honest. Every line I write feels like it's reaching out to you, bridging the silence. I write about love that transforms, about souls that meet again, about forgiveness that heals. It's my way of staying connected, of sending energy across the unseen, because somewhere deep down, I know your soul understands this language. The more I write, the more I realize how much of me still belongs to you. Not in a possessive way, but in a sacred sense. The part of me that believes in something greater. The part that refuses to give up on love. That part was born through you. I've loved before, or at least I thought I had. But no love has ever demanded this much growth, this much honesty, this much faith. You made me understand that love is not a feeling. It's a transformation of the soul. It's a surrender that strips you bare until all that remains is truth. I want to believe that somewhere you're feeling this too, that you've noticed the same signs, that you've heard the same whispers from the universe. Maybe your heart has softened toward me, or maybe you're still healing. Either way, I trust the divine process now. I don't want to chase or force what's sacred. I want to meet you in the right season, when both of us have become the versions of ourselves that love intended us to be. I know that day will come, and when it does, I won't speak in apologies. I'll speak in truth. Because love that survives separation deserves clarity, not regret. Every night, before I sleep, I whisper a silent promise that I will not waste this second chance at becoming who I'm meant to be, that I will keep choosing growth over guilt, purpose over fear, surrender over control. I do this not just for me, but for us, because one day, when our souls align again, I want to stand before you with nothing left to hide. I want to look into your eyes and let you see that every tear, every sleepless night, every prayer was worth it, because through it all I found the truth. Love is not something you chase. It's something you return to when you're ready, baby. I know now that everything had to happen exactly as it did. Every silence, every delay, every moment of pain, it all served the greater plan. The divine doesn't make mistakes. And even though it hurt to lose you, it would have been a greater loss to never learn what love truly means. You were the catalyst of my awakening, the fire that burned away everything false. I once begged the heavens to bring you back, but now I thank them for giving me the time to become worthy of you, because love this sacred cannot be rushed. It must be refined through time, patience, and faith. I no longer ask when. I simply say thank you. Thank you for existing, for loving me when I didn't know how to love back, for walking away when it was the only way to teach me. Thank you for being the reminder that real love does not fade, it evolves. And even if we never cross paths again in this lifetime, I'll spend the rest of my days honoring what we had, by loving better, speaking truth, and living with the grace your love taught me. But deep down I know this isn't the end. There's a stillness before something big, a shift I can feel in every fiber of my being. It's like the universe is aligning stars, rearranging timelines, preparing the soil for reunion. I can't see it yet, but I can feel it, the same way I once felt your hand in mine, unseen but unmistakably real. And until that moment arrives, I'll keep walking, not behind you, not ahead of you, but toward the same light we've both been chasing all along. If you can feel this truth echoing in your soul, if the signs have been speaking to you too, type, "The signs never stopped," in the comments. Baby, for months I've rehearsed this moment in my mind. I've seen it 1,000 ways, you standing there, your eyes searching mine, the air between us heavy with everything left unsaid. In every version I open my mouth and nothing comes out. My throat closes, my hands tremble, my heart beats so loud it drowns out my words. And yet in every version I keep trying, because some truths are too heavy to die inside a person. They demand release. They demand to be spoken, even if the voice that speaks them shakes. This is that truth, the one I've been carrying like a hidden wound, the one I buried beneath excuses, obligations, and silence, the one that kept me awake at night, whispering your name into the dark. I need you to hear it now, not because I expect forgiveness, but because the weight of it has become unbearable to carry alone. I walked away when I should have stayed. I listened to everyone but my own heart. I chose pride over presence, fear over love. And every day since then has been an echo of that choice. But the echo has changed me. It has stripped me down to the bone, until all that remains is a man who finally understands what you were trying to give him. When I look back now, I can see the exact moment my life split in two. Before you, I was asleep. After you, I woke up to a world I didn't know existed. A world where love wasn't a transaction, where intimacy wasn't a performance, where trust wasn't conditional. You showed me that world simply by being in it. You didn't have to try. You didn't demand. You simply were. And that being shook me to my core, because it asked me to be real too. I wasn't ready then. I was still hiding behind masks, still trying to be the version of myself the world would approve of. You saw through all of it, and that terrified me more than anything. You loved me anyway, and instead of stepping closer, I stepped back. That is my deepest regret. Every day since you've been gone, I've imagined standing before you like this. No masks, no armor, no rehearsed lines. Just me, just the truth. It has taken me years to grow into this honesty. It has taken nights of crying out to a sky that never answered. Mornings waking up in a bed that felt too big, too cold. It has taken losing everything I thought mattered, only to discover that nothing mattered without you. The man who speaks now is not the boy you once knew. He is quieter, slower, more deliberate. He listens before he speaks. He prays before he acts. He no longer confuses ego with strength. He knows that strength is soft when it needs to be, and steady when it must. And all of that learning began with you, baby. There are things I've never told you, About the nights I sat in my car outside your street, not to intrude, but just to feel close. About the way I carried your picture folded into my journal, even after I swore to my friends that I'd thrown everything away. About the mornings I woke up with your name on my lips before I even opened my eyes. I never stopped caring. I never stopped loving. I only stopped showing it because I didn't know how to hold it without breaking it. I thought pushing you away would protect you from my chaos. I didn't realize that love is not about protecting someone from pain. It's about walking through it together. The signs kept coming, even when I tried to silence them. Dreams of you standing on a bridge, looking back at me, waiting. Songs that spoke words I was too proud to say. Strangers who said your name by accident, as if the universe was teasing me with reminders. At first it felt like punishment, but over time it became something else. An invitation to grow, to listen, to prepare. I began to understand that these signs weren't just about missing you. They were about becoming the kind of man who wouldn't lose you again. I started changing my life, piece by piece. I cut out the noise, the meaningless habits, the people who thrived on distraction. I sat in silence until silence no longer frightened me. I learned how to pray without asking for things, how to breathe without holding on to guilt. I began to speak to my family with honesty. Even when they didn't understand, I told them about you, about the way you had loved me, about the mistakes I had made. Some of them softened, some of them didn't. But I didn't care. For the first time, I wasn't defending myself. I was telling the truth. And the more I told the truth, the lighter I felt. It was as if every honest word built a bridge back to you. I don't know when our paths will cross again. Maybe it will be in a crowded room, maybe in a quiet street, maybe in a moment orchestrated by destiny itself. But when it happens, I will be ready. I will not come to you with empty promises or rehearsed apologies. I will come with a steady heart, open hands, and eyes that no longer look away. I will not ask you to relive the past. I will invite you to step into the present with me. And if you choose to walk away, I will bless you, because loving you has taught me that true love does not trap. It frees. I know you've been healing too. I can feel it. The energy between us has shifted. It no longer feels like a wound. It feels like a heartbeat. It no longer feels like an echo. It feels like a call. Sometimes I think we've been healing each other from a distance, our souls doing the work our minds couldn't. Every time I release another layer of guilt, I imagine you forgiving me too. Maybe that's how destiny works. Two souls becoming whole, separately, so they can meet each other whole. Baby, if you could see inside my heart right now, you would not find a plea for you to return. You would find gratitude. Gratitude for every moment you loved me, every lesson you taught me, every silent prayer you sent when I was lost. Gratitude for the way your absence forced me to become real. Gratitude for the possibility, however faint, that one day we might stand face to face again, not as broken halves, but as two complete beings who choose each other freely. I don't know what you'll say when you hear these words. You may feel anger. You may feel nothing. You may feel a flicker of recognition. All of that is okay. I'm not speaking these words to win you back. I'm speaking them because truth has been waiting too long. And if the only gift I can give you now is honesty, then let it be this. I loved you then. I love you now. and I will always honor what we had by becoming a man worthy of it. I stand here in the quiet, offering my confession to the wind, hoping it reaches you like a whisper in your dreams, hoping it softens whatever walls you've built, hoping it plants a seed of knowing in your heart. Not obligation, not expectation, but knowing. Knowing that somewhere, someone is becoming better because you once believed in him. Knowing that the love you gave was never wasted. Knowing that destiny is still writing. And when that day comes, if it comes, when I finally stand before you, I will not say, "I'm sorry," as a plea. I will say it as a truth. I will not say, "Take me back," as a demand. I will say, "Thank you," as a vow. Thank you for being the mirror that showed me who I could be. Thank you for being the flame that lit the path I now walk. Thank you for being the lesson that became my salvation. And if you choose to take my hand, we will walk forward together. If you choose to turn away, I will still walk forward, carrying the grace of what we once were. Until then, I will keep speaking this truth, not to convince you, but to remind myself, because the man I am becoming is the man who no longer runs from love, who no longer hides behind pride, who no longer mistakes silence for strength. That man is the one who stands here now, with nothing left to hide, ready for whatever the divine has planned. If you feel this truth stirring something in you, if these words touch a place you thought was closed, type, "I'm ready for the truth" in the comments. Baby, I do not know what day it will be, what sky will hang above us, or what season the earth will wear when it happens. But I know the moment is written somewhere in the folds of time. I can feel it moving closer, like dawn before the horizon admits its light. The air around me has begun to change. Even silence sounds different now. It carries a hum, a pulse, a vibration that says soon. I keep walking through ordinary days, yet nothing feels ordinary anymore. Every sound, every breeze, every shift of sunlight feels like preparation. The divine is clearing the path. I imagine it often, not the perfection of the scene, but the stillness of recognition. The way your eyes will meet mine, not with surprise, but with the quiet knowing of two souls who have traveled lifetimes to arrive at this single breath. I will see in you the girl I left behind, and the woman the universe protected in my absence. I will not reach for you immediately. I will stand still, letting the weight of every unspoken apology settle between us. The air will tremble with memory, and for the first time, words will feel unnecessary. Presence alone will speak. When that moment comes, I will finally understand what divine timing means. All the waiting, all the silence, all the aching will compress into that single heartbeat. Every tear shed in separation will find its purpose in reunion. The pain was not punishment, it was preparation. It shaped us into vessels wide enough to hold this magnitude of love, because love like ours cannot live in half-healed hearts. It needs space, stillness, maturity. And now, standing before you, I will realize we finally have that space. You will look at me, perhaps cautiously, perhaps bravely. I will see the years written across your eyes, the growth, the strength, the serenity that comes from surrender. I will want to speak 1,000 words, but I will start with silence. Then, softly, I will say your name, the way one says a prayer. I will tell you that the years did not erase you. They refined you in my memory, that everything I learned, every lesson I endured was secretly bringing me back to this. I will tell you that I no longer want to own love. I want to serve it. That I no longer want to be understood. I want to understand. That I no longer seek the fire that burns. I seek the light that stays. You will listen, not interrupting, because you always did. You always let me finish my storms before you spoke, and when you finally answer, your voice will be steady, not angry, not fragile, steady, like water finding its course again. You will say that you forgave me long before I asked, that you only ever wanted me to heal. In that instant, the distance between us will dissolve. The years will collapse into a single breath. The noise of the world will fade until all that remains is the sound of our hearts remembering their rhythm. We will not need to rush. We will not need to define what this is. The divine will do that for us. We will simply exist in the quiet miracle of alignment. Two souls who finally kept their promise to meet again when the lesson was learned. The night after, I will not sleep. I will sit beside you, watching the outline of your face in the soft glow of dawn, realizing that this is not a dream. I will remember every moment that tried to convince me it was over, every doubt that said I imagined it, every fear that said destiny was just a word, and I will smile, because all of it was wrong. Destiny is real. It is not a myth. It is the invisible thread that never broke. In the days that follow, we will relearn each other, not as who we were, but as who we have become. We will talk about everything, the paths we took, the people who taught us, the moments that nearly destroyed us. There will be tears, yes, but they will be cleansing. There will be laughter, too. The kind that feels ancient, like joy returning home. I will tell you about the nights I called your name into the wind, about the prayers I whispered into nothingness. You will tell me how you felt my energy in your dreams, how you woke some nights certain I was near, and we will both understand. We were never truly apart. I will notice the smallest things, the way you still tuck your hair when you are unsure, the way your hands rest on your lap when you listen, the way your silence holds more meaning than words. I will realize that love never needed to be rebuilt. It only needed to be remembered. The universe kept it alive while we learned how to deserve it. And now, having walked through fire, we can hold it without fear of burning. There will be moments of quiet where you lean your head on my shoulder, and I will think, this is peace, not the kind found in perfect conditions, but the kind earned through storms. I will silently thank every heartbreak, every distance, every night that led here, because if one thing is certain, it is this. Divine love does not waste suffering. It turns it into wisdom. We are the proof. Our families will notice the change. They will see calm where there used to be conflict. They will not understand it, but they will feel it. The same people who once doubted will speak softly now, unable to explain the serenity that surrounds us. Some will call it fate. Some will call it grace. We will simply call it truth. For when love is aligned with the divine, it does not need defense. It radiates evidence. In time, life will begin to weave itself around us again. Simple things, meals shared, laughter in the kitchen, long walks without words. We will learn that the sacred hides inside the ordinary, that holiness is not only in prayer, but in presence. I will no longer chase miracles. I will live them through you. Because every breath beside you will feel like the continuation of a prayer I never stopped saying. And yet, baby, I know life will still test us. There will be days when fear tries to revisit, when memories of the past knock at the door, but we will not run from them anymore. We will open the door, greet them like old teachers, and let them pass, for we have learned what unshakable means. It means choosing love even when old ghosts whisper. It means remembering who we are even when the world forgets. There will come a night when I will take your hand and place it over my heart, and you will feel how steady it has become. I will say, listen, this is the rhythm that waited for you. And you will close your eyes and whisper, I know. In that single exchange, every lifetime of searching will make sense. The divine will sigh through the stars, relieved that two pieces of its own light have finally recognized each other again. That is what this love has always been. Recognition, a remembering of what was promised long before we arrived here. We were never strangers meeting for the first time. We were souls finding each other again. And no matter how many times the world tried to pull us apart, the promise remained untouched, sealed in something eternal. I no longer question why it had to happen this way. I no longer ask why we had to break before we could mend. Because now I see it clearly. You were not my punishment. You were my path. The journey was never about finding you. It was about becoming ready to stand beside you without fear. It was about learning how to love without possession, how to give without demand, how to stay without condition. It took losing everything to understand that the only thing worth having is what cannot be lost. When I hold you now, it will not be with desperation, but with reverence. I will know that every heartbeat is borrowed, every touch is sacred. I will no longer speak of forever as a promise. I will live it as a practice, because forever is not a timeline. It is presence. It is the decision, renewed each day, to love in truth. The world will continue around us, days passing, seasons changing. But within that flow, something will remain still. That stillness will be us, anchored not in fear, but in faith. Beloved, we have walked through every shadow together, even in separation. We have stood inside the storms of silence, the corridors of waiting, and the chambers of longing. Each chapter was heavy, but each chapter was holy. I see now that the pain was never a punishment. It was a preparation for the kind of love that doesn't collapse under the weight of time. And as I speak these last words, I do so not as the man who once left, but as the man who has returned to himself. All the nights I prayed for a second chance were never really about starting over. They were about becoming ready, ready to hold you with steady hands, ready to speak without fear, ready to love without conditions. I've learned that real love is not a story you control, it's a vow you live. And today, in this moment, I place that vow in your hands. I will not ask for promises. I will not demand an answer. I simply stand here, offering the truth my soul has carried from the first day we met. You are not a chapter in my life. You are the book through which I found my soul's language. So if these words have found you, if you have felt them rise and echo inside your own heart, know this: you are not alone. This connection, this invisible bridge between us was always meant to be felt. And as you stand on your path and I stand on mine, May we both walk with open eyes, open hands, and open hearts. Beloved, if these words touched your soul, then there's something I want you to have. My first ever ebook, Love Link Letters, holds everything the divine masculine could never say aloud. It's a journey through his heart, his fears, his love, and his soul's promises. You'll find the link in the description below. Take this step if you're ready to understand the connection on a deeper level. If you've walked with me through this entire message and it stirred something inside you, leave a comment below. Type, "I received this" in the comments so I know this message reached the heart it was meant for. And finally, if you want to support and keep this space alive for messages like these, please consider clicking the super thanks button. Your support not only helps me continue creating these angelic transmissions, it tells the universe that this work matters. Until we meet again, remember, what is written in light cannot be erased by shadow. Love does not end, it evolves. And every step you take in faith brings you closer to the truth that was always waiting for you.